Hi there. Welcome to our webinar, Relationship Selling with Urgency. The motivation for this seminar. Some people aren't fans of selling. They think of salespeople like Willy Loman in Death of a Salesman. Even some salespeople think that way. But who doesn't want to be a trusted advisor? Everybody does. This framing serves both buyer and seller. Sellers feel good because they want to be trusted advisors, and buyers want to be taken care of by trusted advisors. The challenge we have is that when we try to acquire new trusted advisor relationships, it's like we're on a tilted playing field. The competitor is a trusted advisor rolling the ball downhill, and we're rolling it or kicking it uphill and coming in on a single transaction. And so what's our challenge? Our challenge is to level the playing field. But how do we do that? How do we become a trusted advisor? A common view is, well, first we get some business, then we get a little bit more business, and then maybe after 1 to 5 years, we're accepted as a consultant trusted advisor. And we have a relationship, and that is a productive for sales, profitable sales. Boy, that sounds like a long time, doesn't it? Is this multi-year expectation like a self-limiting assumption? Pictured here is Roger Bannister doing what was thought to be impossible, running the 4-minute mile. Until he did it, nobody thought it was possible. And yet in the year after he did it, somebody beat him by a fraction of a second because they believed it was possible. Could it be the case it takes so long to form trusted advisor relationships because we believe it should take so long? Could we time pace? Could we control the future better? Time pacing was popularized by 3M in the 1980s, and they try to create the future, not the milking, harvesting from existing brands like Scotch tape and Post-it notes, waiting for them to become a buggy whip that's economics jargon for an obsolete product. They innovated new products. By the way, the idea of time pacing is one of the great ideas in this book, Competing on the Edge. So can we time pace becoming a trusted advisor faster? Of course, to do it, we might want to think about taking a do-or-die approach versus best efforts. When I was a teenager, my parents encouraged me to try a lot of new things and give it my best effort. When I started my first business, I found that best efforts was a path to failure. We needed do or die. More on that in a bit. Another important distinction is between interest, which is curiosity, wanting to learn more, and urgency, a compelling reason to act now. We can never close interest, only urgency. It's okay to start as interest, but our job then is to turn it into urgency. Good news for business development? What do you think? This Harvard Business Review study says only 18% of buyers classify the salespeople they meet as trusted advisors. Maybe not such good news for defending existing business, but there's opportunity. How do we know we have a relationship? Access is coin of the realm. We can get access to our decision makers. They coach us. They teach us the closing conditions to close the sale. If we're close, they give us a second shot on pricing. They ask for advice. And perhaps most important, they help enroll us to other decision makers in the organization. Let's take a look at a kind of a dynamic approach to being a trusted advisor with a grid. Green, yellow, red. Green, we have a trusted advisor relationship. Yellow, some relationship. Red, no relationship. Here are 3 customers, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Here are 4 functional decision makers, different types of decision makers. The day-to-day functional decision maker, the CFO, the chief operating officer, and the CEO. Let's look at how we rate it here. Well, we have a trusted advisor relationship with the functional decision maker, but is that enough? Consider this case history. I was working with a Fortune 200 company, training 25 salespeople. And one day in a one-to-one, Bob comes in downcast. What's the matter, Bob? Well, I can't believe it. The company, our Fortune 200 companies, had the customer for 40 years. I've covered it for 10 years. And last week we lost the business. We didn't even get a second shot. I said, oh, what happened? He said, well, 2 levels up, a new decision maker came in and brought their own vendor. Wow, that's not so good, is it? So this is a really good drill to do to assess your defensive position. And it's also something good to do to evaluate what's in your pipeline. Is what you have in your pipeline real? Now, a powerful jump start for a relationship is bring them business or a warm introduction, right? Then they want to talk to you. Another thing not as obvious, though, is help their career, help them look good. A cynical but often observed comment is key determinant to decision-making is how the team member thinks it affects their career, not what's in the best interest of their organization. A big complex project goes sideways. Here's an example. The goal is to create, vet, and launch a big program in 2 months to train VIPs. The owner of the company wants this project. He's an ally. The constraint is he wants me to work with Mike in creating this program, who's a 2% ownership partner. He's the heir apparent. The problem is Mike doesn't even want to talk to me. He doesn't think I'm needed. So for a month, believe it or not, for a month, he would answer phone calls, emails, texts, whatever. I don't know what to do. Is this a do or die situation? Should we walk away? What would you do? To enroll the CEO owner faster, you want to help them avoid playing the boss card. You want to coach the organization to do what's in its best interest. That was the challenge I was facing here. See, the owner could have kind of commanded Mike, here's what I want you to do. But the owner wanted me to work it out. So essential to the solution was this. I did 95% of the work. I didn't wait for Mike. I did virtually the whole project, and then I let Mike put his name on it so he looked good with his boss. Right? And let me tell you, what an assignment that was. I did 122-day trainings. It was for an M&A firm, and new clients coming on stream needed the education. I worked with 400 ownership groups because I made it easy for the owner. The CEO also appreciates us when we let him know that the foxes are guarding the hen house, acting in their own self-interest. For instance, we had a buyer who wouldn't see us. We could save him a lot of money, so we went to the owner. The owner granted us an appointment and bought from us. What's your personal brand here? How do you develop your personal brand to become a trusted advisor so you stand out among all the folks that are out there competing with you? What goes into a trusted advisor brand? Well, integrity, of course. You're an idea person, an advisor. You're a person who can get things done, and you're bold. Let's look at a couple of these in a little depth here. Are you bringing enough good ideas to the table? There are 3 sales we have to make. The salesperson sale, the offer sale, and the company sale. 3 sales we have to make. But if we don't bring enough good ideas to the table to become a consultant, we're never going to get further into this and make the second and third call. So are we making the salesperson sale? Key to this is wisdom-based selling. Customers love wisdom. What wisdom are you bringing to the meeting? What is wisdom? Short, practical, easy to understand ideas, improves the prospect's well-being, and it doesn't require them to buy from us. Wisdom is one key to becoming a trusted advisor. Faster. Now, a prospect may not want to speak with us if we're selling, but if we're offering solid wisdom, they should be willing to talk to us. How do we get wisdom if we don't have it? Here's a bold vision, bold behavior. Ask your big fans, ask clients about their best practices, become an expert in your industry. Something else you could do is innovate. Do research. Here's a case history. The client is a hotel chain, and the prospect they're targeting is a healthcare company. We're going for a 300 to 400 room night potential, about $40,000 in sales. The problem is the salesperson can't get through because the buyer keeps saying, a room's a room, you're all the same, why should I pay you 50% more than my incumbent supplier? And he makes mean faces. Now, if price is the only important closing condition, we can't possibly win. We need to add a condition to have a chance here through wisdom. So re-engage the prospect. This is the one who says, you're all the same. But this time we've coached the salesperson to be bold, to challenge the prospect and say, I'm surprised to hear you say that. This is hard for many salespeople to do, to challenge the prospect's thinking. So a social seller wants to be liked. The business seller wants to earn the right to profitable business. So we say, well, I'm surprised to hear you say that. We're bold. The buyer says, what do you mean? You're all the same. And then the saleswoman says, what about a good night's sleep, and shares our research. This Harvard Business Review article, Sleep Deficit is a Performance Killer. This changed the conversation. 6 days later, we closed. We got 50% more than the incumbent. Now, this case does not illustrate that you could always get 50% more or that you could close in 6 days. But it does illustrate that the only chance we have is to reach out to people who might be open-minded and teach them how to be better. So the question here is, what type 3 knowledge are we bringing to the party? Type 1 is what they know, type 2 is what they know they don't know, and type 3 is what they don't realize they don't know. As you pre-plan for every meeting, every conversation, what's the type 3 information that you're going to bring to the meeting? Another way to start more trusted advisor relationships is at trade shows. Here I am at the Printing United Expo last October. In the first hour of the show, not enough people were stopping by my booth. So I came up with an idea. For the slower moving people who were really looking, I asked the question, are you interested in an idea that will change your life? I pulled 60 people into my booth. I closed 2 of them. So you can start trusted advisor relationships that quickly. Another thing you could do is work on the magic moment of access. The magic moment of access is when your customer-facing team is talking to a customer and the customer is telling them they're delighted, and you ask for them to do something, like introduce us to somebody else. In the book Atomic Habits, they talk about habit stacking. When you're doing your follow-up, it's project management, you have to be able to shift into selling mode. And it's best to do this on a do or die basis. So let's say we set the objective of 1 warm introduction a month to start a trusted advisor relationship. If you don't get 1 in month 1, you need 2 in month 2. That's do or die. Another idea is, are you bringing enough new ideas to the situation? Are you a level 5 leader? Are you using the window and the mirror? This is from Collins' Good to Great. So a level 5 leader, when things go well, you give credit to the team. When things don't go well, you look in the mirror and say, what could I have done differently? So looking in the mirror is the opposite of learned helplessness. In my case, I try to test 5 new ideas a week, and I use specialized equipment, big garbage can for all the bad ideas. The 16-week sprint, we had a client who wanted to open up key account relationships with top management. Every salesperson had 2 to 3 targets. We met every week, and if they didn't open them up, for each of 16 weeks, we had a new idea. We had 70% breakthroughs. Are you trying harder? The last idea that I would share with you is a competitive assessment. This is an example of what we do to open up a conversation with top management or owners. This is done with AI. And in this particular example, we show the market share and the market assessment for iPhones, for smartphones. If you're interested in this, I'll do one for your company. If you're interested in the Trusted Advisor Grid, reach out to me. I'll send it to you. In review, not everybody wants to sell. Just about everyone wants to be a trusted advisor. The relationship grid helps you evaluate where you are or aren't a trusted advisor. We can time pace. We can expedite forming a trusted advisor relationship even before experience by being a good advisor. Methods include lead with wisdom, secure warm introductions, take a do or die approach, help leaders avoid using the boss card, create a consensus, show leaders their competitive position. Well, we know that Rome wasn't built in a day, so we're just about at the end of our seminar for today. Think about your takeaways of that. If you have any questions, write to me at andyg@urgencybasedselling.net. And please join us in 2 months when we're going to expand the discussion of helping CEOs avoid using the boss card. May 13th at 1:30. Thanks again for joining us. Hope to see you again soon.